So I was doing my makeup as I normally do, watching YouTube videos, and then a Kylie Jenner makeup tutorial came up, and I was like, honestly, I don't have a go-to everyday makeup look because I'm constantly trying new things. I'm constantly doing like new products, new looks, like crazy special effects stuff. So I watched her video and then I did my makeup and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my god, this could actually be my new everyday makeup look. It's so easy. You could use whatever products work for you. And I think that it just kind of like enhances your best features. It just like snatches your face and it just looks really good. So let's get into it. Okay, first I'm just gonna clip my hair back. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. If you know, you know, it's just like that good. Obviously you could use whatever primer you like, but I just think this is a really good one, especially when I do like dewy makeup. Like sometimes it could slip around, so having this underneath your foundation is just so good. The skin around my nose has been so chapped and so dry. I always put primer on my neck. I mean, I feel like if I'm putting foundation there, I should put primer there too. Okay. So now I'm gonna use the NYX Born to Glow foundation, and I'm in the shade Medium Olive. I haven't used this foundation in a while, and that day that I was watching the video, I just picked this up to like use it and see what it was like again because I kind of forgot, and it made my skin look absolutely flawless. So I just put a little bit of that on a Y6 Kabuki brush from Morphe. You could use your brush of choice, your beauty blender, whatever, and we're just gonna go in. And this doesn't say it's a dewy foundation, it says a naturally radiant foundation. I find it to be like a little bit more on like the dewy side, and I think it's like medium coverage-ish, but it's definitely like buildable. I don't know why, like I've been liking a more dewy natural foundation lately. I used to be a full coverage queen, and I just go right over my eyelids. I'm not gonna put that much eyeshadow on today, so just having the foundation on will be a good enough primer itself. Okay, something that I don't skimp on full coverage is my concealer. And if you're looking for something else other than Tarte Shape Tape, because I know that I'm such a Tarte Shape Tape stan, the Cover FX Power Play Concealer is so good. It's not as drying, I find, as the Tarte Shape Tape, but it still gives it like just the right amount of coverage, so I've been obsessed with it. I'm in the shade N Light 2. Fun fact, actually, really sad fact, I've been having sleeping problems. And this is a Cover FX brush, actually. It's just like basically a smaller Kabuki brush. Like this is like in comparison to the Morphe one, but I just like how it fits underneath my eye. You could obviously use whatever you want. A beauty blender works just fine. You could even use the same foundation brush, and I'm just gonna start pressing that into my skin, and I bring it like kind of all the way up into my temple, and then I like drag it down near my mouth. So I've been having problems like sleeping too much. Like I slept 11 hours last night and I'm still exhausted. Like I could probably just like lay down and keep going back to sleep. You know, my doctor's checking my vitamins and stuff. We're gonna see what's good with that. But like I just have the best intentions on waking up at 6 a.m. every day, and it just like hasn't happened yet. So I'm like, what's going on? So now I'm gonna do a little cream contour, and I'm gonna use the Fenty Matchsticks bronzer, and this is in the shade Mocha. It's more of like a cool toned contour stick, which I like because I kind of like a warm bronzer. So I find that having like a cool toned cream contour, it kind of like tones it down a little bit, and it's like not as like orangey, I guess. So I just kind of take this from the tip of my ear and I bring it to the corner of my mouth, but I like kind of stop like an inch before the corner of my mouth, and I kind of like bring it up into my temple a little bit. Then I take it underneath my chin to make it look like I have that Madison Beer jawline. We could all dream, right? And then I put some under my nose, on the sides of my nose, a little underneath my lip to make it a little extra pouty. And then this is a Tarte brush. It's like a cream product brush, but it's like a little bit more fluffy, and I really like this to pat in my cream contour. And I kind of just use pressing motions and tapping motions, because if you kind of start just like going like this right away, it could like spread the product out too much and you can kind of lose control of what you're doing, and then it'll look just like a swampy mess. And then once you've kind of tapped it in and like there's no more harsh line, you can kind of go in and buff it out just to make sure it's really blended. Fun fact, again, actually really sad fact, I have a broken nose. I don't know if you can tell or not. If you can't tell, that means I do a good job of contouring it, but it's actually a really fun, inappropriate story time. So if you want to hear it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And when you're contouring your jawline, if you notice, I put it right like under where my jaw sits, not like on it or above it, because then it just looks like that like foundation that you didn't blend out in middle school. Yeah, no, we don't want that. So you put it right underneath it so it creates sort of a shadow that you have a chiseled jawline if you've gained, you know, weight over the Pandora like me. And then creating the shadow right underneath your lip, it just gives it like a little extra pout. So when you put your lipstick and stuff on, it just like creates a little shadow. Okay, so now that our cream products are on, it's time to set our face. And I'm actually gonna be using 2 different setting powders today. So believe it or not, Lush actually has a setting powder, and I was like so eager to try it because like what? And it sort of has a pinky peachy undertone, and then the Kylie, I just have the translucent one, but she mixes the two because she says that the pink helps get rid of her dark circles, which like, yes, I need that. So I'm gonna try that out today. I've never done that before. I've never mixed these before. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. This is a Morphe E49. I love this for underneath the eye because you can just tell like the shape fits underneath there perfectly, and it's like fluffy but compact enough where it actually like packs on the powder. So first I'm gonna take a little bit of the Lush powder. It's called Emotional Brilliance Translucent Face Powder, and it says like Lush on that little container. So I'm just gonna set my under eyes with a little bit of this. I'm just gonna set my eyelids as well, just to prevent them from creasing. Speaking of Lush, I posted a Lush Valentine's Day self-care video, so if you haven't watched that, 10 out of 10 recommend checking it out after you watch this, or if you're bored, watch another one of my videos. I don't really notice like that much of a difference like with this pink translucent setting powder than with just the regular one. I feel like I still have some dark circles, but like I just need to sleep better. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face with the Kylie translucent setting powder. A lot of people like dragged this setting powder. I honestly don't think that there's anything wrong with it, so I'm just gonna bake around my nostrils because that's where I pretty much get the most oily. I don't really have oily skin, I have dry skin. So I really just like to bake around my nose. Okay, now I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush and just wipe off any of the excess powder that's on my face. Forgot to put setting powder on my neck. I like to do that with a big fluffy brush so that hopefully it won't transfer onto my clothes. Bless me! Now I'm gonna sound all nasally for the rest of the video. Love that. So now I'm gonna take my all-time favorite bronzer. It's the xoxo bronzer, and I'm in the shade medium golden bronze, I think. This bronzer is so good on bare skin and over makeup, which is why I love it. If you wanna go for more of like a natural look, or if you just want like a really luminous glow over your makeup, it's perfect. So this is a Morphe E4, it's just an angled brush, and I'm just going to buff some of that over where I put the contour. I just think it adds a perfect amount of warmth to my face, and like I love a shimmery bronzer. I know a lot of people don't, but like why not? And I take it like kind of all the way around my temples as well, just to kind of shorten up my forehead a little bit. I don't really know if I have a large forehead, but I just like to do it anyway. I just got a Celsius because I need a little something something. Also, I've never had this flavor before. It's the orange one. I don't really like artificial orange flavored drinks, but my friend said it tastes like orange soda, so I'm gonna try it. Oh wow, that's good. I'm out of breath from running up the stairs. That's not good either. This like low-key tastes like a mimosa. Anyways, what was I doing? Bronzer! I basically just like put this around the perimeter of like my whole face, and then I just kind of bronze underneath my chin where I put that chin contour just to set it. Oh my god. But it just like adds a little bit of, I guess, extra shadow and like color. Oh mama. So Kylie makes it a point that she really loves like a nice heavy blush. Some of the products that I'm using that are hers, I do like them, so I'm just like, why not? Obviously incorporate it into the Kylie themed video. This is her blush in the shade Baddie on the Block. I love this blush. It's like the perfect blush color. It's a peachy pink, and I just think that it looks like so good on everybody, honestly. So this is like the Hourglass dual-ended brush. This is like the most expensive brush I own, and like for what? I have like literally the same thing. Anyways, I do really enjoy it though. So I'm gonna take the fluffy end of this brush and just dip it into my blush, and she like has a different shaped face than me, obviously, but she like does like a very like rounded like apples of the cheeks blush and then kind of brings it back. So I'm gonna do the same thing. This brush actually might be like too big for this. I'm switching to this brush because that brush is like just way too big. This is a Morphe, oh I don't even know honestly, just like a big fluffy brush. Yeah, definitely feel like I have more control with this brush, but I definitely think that she focuses a lot of like the blush right here, which doesn't look good on everybody. So obviously like, you know, do what looks good for you. I just put a little bit of blush on my nose too because I think it looks really cute. Okay, I might add a little bit more blush, but I think that this is definitely more blush than I usually wear anyway, so I'll just leave it at this for now and then I'll add more as needed. So now I'm gonna move on to brows, and Kylie does more of a sculpted brow. I've been really liking like a fluffy, bushy brow lately, so I'm kind of gonna combine the two. And I think she does her brows with a brow pencil, which I don't have right now because I finished it up and then I kind of moved on to like the brow wax anyway. So I'm going to use a little bit of brow wax and then I'm going to use a little bit of dip brow just to add some hairs and sculpt out my brows. So this is the Anastasia Dewy Set in the pineapple flavor. I think that's so cool that they came out with like little scents. So I'm going to spray a little bit of this. This is the Patrick Ta Major Brow in the shade Tinted. He has like a tinted one and then just like a clear one. And then I'm going to take this crusty spoolie. The crustier the better, but really though, like the crustier and like gross it is, like the better it works, I feel like. And then I'm just gonna comb my brow hairs up. I'm not gonna comb them like all the way up like I usually do because like I said, she does more of a sculpted brow and we want more of like a natural look today. So I'm just gonna kind of like comb them up and then like back. And then a trick that I have is I use the end of the brush to flatten out the brow hairs so they really like stay down and stay in place. Stay down. And then I'll just kind of go back in and like shape everything out because I do like a longer like tail at the end of my brow. Okay, so now I'm gonna use my Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Ebony. Also, like I'm kind of about this setup. Like it's very like chill, easier for me, hopefully like better for you because it's really about you. It's not really about me. And I'm gonna take it on this Morphe, ready for this name, M160-116th brush. Basically, it's a very precise, fine eyebrow brush, and then I take a little bit of the dip brow on here, like a little like chunk, and then I put it in the back of the lid, and then I kind of like swirl it around, and then I go back and forth on each side to make sure it's fully saturated and also that it's like really thin and precise. And then I like to start at the tail of my brow and make it darker and then kind of like fade it out like an ombre brow, I guess, like right into the corner of my brow. That's like pretty much it that I do for my brows. It's a little bit more sculpted, not as like fluffy as I usually go, but I don't like it to look too like blocky and like fake, I guess. Now we're gonna move on to the eyes, and she didn't really do that much with her eyes, which like usually if I wasn't like putting on eyeshadow, I would just like put on some lashes and call it a day. But she kind of like sculpted her eyes in a way that I was like, that really like sealed the deal for me. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the same bronzer that I used on my face. I'm just gonna take a fluffy crease brush. This is a Morphe M502, and swirl it around in the same bronzer that I used on my face. And I'm just going to swipe that in windshield wiper motions in my crease just to define it a little bit. And then I just like flick it a little bit like out towards, I just freaked out. I'm like literally the CEO of like picking up a black brush and it has black freaking eyeshadow on it and it ruins my makeup. So that just scared me for a sec. So we're just like defining our crease and like sculpting it out a little bit, giving it some dimension. And then I just flick it out a little bit towards the tail of my brow to give myself more of like a cat eye look, even though it's like, you know, just a very light brown. It just adds a little bit of like contour to your eye. I'm gonna take my Anastasia Soft Glam palette. Literally any palette with neutrals like browns and blacks in them is totally fine. Use whatever you want. This is just like a really tiny flat eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna dip it into the shade Cypress Umber. It's the darkest brown before the black shade, and I'm just gonna pick a little bit of that up. Don't want to be too much. So I'm just dusting that on my lash line, kind of as like a little bit of an eyeliner, but we're gonna buff it out. I'm just taking a clean fluffy brush and I'm just blending some of that dark brown out because it's a little bit too dark. I put a little bit too much on. That's okay though. And then Kylie always has like that iconic super like thin snatched cat eye wing. This is the NYX Super Skinny Eye Marker. It has a really thin felt tip, but the only annoying thing is I feel like it always like runs out before I'm done. Like it has to like get juiced up again. So let me know what your favorite felt tip liner is because I've been trying to find like a new like really good one. And she just does like the thinnest, I need like concentration for this. She does a really thin sharp wing that like kind of goes out pretty far, almost to like the tail of her eyebrow. I just messed that up so bad. I feel like this didn't turn out good and I'm like really disappointed, so I'm hoping that this side turns out better. Okay, yeah, that worked out so much better. So I don't like go all the way around my eye. I kind of just like connect it right into like the outer corner, and then when you put the mascara on, like you won't really be able to tell anyway, but it really just like elongates your eye in the corner and it gives you that like cat fox eye look. Okay, so now I'm just curling my lashes. That's literally not gonna work. All right, I'm gonna use my Milk Kush mascara, and I know that this is like a controversial product as well. Some people like love it or hate it. Oh no, is it like clumpy and gross? I need a new one. You just have to be very careful and like do it in thin layers and like keep going over it without like clumping it on too much. So when I put on my mascara, I'm gonna focus most of it on the outer corner of my eye and kind of like drag it up and outwards just to kind of go with like the fox eye. Just gonna switch over to this side while that side's drying because I do usually do multiple coats. But like I said, with this one, you have to be kind of careful because if you keep putting it on while it's wet, it'll get really clumpy and weird. Thank God I'm almost done because the Celsius is starting to hit and my hands are like getting a little bit shaky. Good thing it wasn't like that when I did the eyeliner. So Kylie said that she uses a brown mascara on her lower lash line, but I don't have brown mascara. I do have the Anastasia brow gel in ebony, which is like basically the same thing. Brow gel is like mascara for your brows. And I think the reason for that is kind of like to round out the eye look, like with the brown in the crease and then having that on your lower lash line. It gives you like kind of like a natural dimension, I guess. But she says she loves it. So if it's good enough for Kylie, it is good enough for me. I think this stuff dries a little bit more quickly than mascara, so you have to work a little bit quickly. But I mean, if you really want to, you could buy a brown mascara. I have been obsessed with the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Wand. I have the shade Glowgasm, or is it Goldgasm? It's a Glowgasm wand, but I have it in the shade Goldgasm. It is such a good cream highlight. I put it over my makeup and it doesn't mess with it or anything, but it's just like, oh, you'll see. So I usually just put like 3 dots right here, and then with this, you kind of have to work a little bit quickly, so I just go right in with my finger and I start blending it out. I take it up into my temple and I bring it like down into my cheek, but it gives you such a natural sun-kissed glow. It is a little expensive, so you could use like a different cream highlight if you want, but this one just sits really nicely on top of my makeup and I do think it's worth the money. Put a little bit on my nose. If you use it like sparingly at first, you can kind of just like put it all over and then like build it up in the spots where you want more of it. I need to go use a lip scrub because my lips are just like gross. Ugh, I'll be right back. Okay, I just did a lip scrub and I put some Aquaphor on. So I don't know if like this is gonna sit weird on top of it, but I am gonna use a Kylie lip kit. Believe it or not, my favorite Kylie lip kit is the Kylie one in the shade Kylie. Honestly, I don't use her lip kits that often because I don't really love a liquid liner. Like they dry out my lips and I don't know, I just like prefer like a lipstick or a lip liner. And what would a Kylie inspired video be without her iconic liquid lip? And I obviously overline the hell out of my lips. I'm sorry about the dead skin on my lips, guys. I promise I did the best I could. I know it's like low-key gross. Now I'm just putting the Kylie liquid lip over that. It smells good though. It smells like cupcakes. If you put on like a good chapstick underneath her liquid lips, they don't like dry out as much, so you can get away with it a little bit more if you're somebody that doesn't like a liquid lip. And then I just like to go back in with the lip liner and sort of like smooth out the edges to give it like a contour and ombre look, and it makes your lips look a little bit more pouty. So I just kind of like blend in the corners. I'm just gonna top it off with a little bit of gloss just in the center of my lips. It just gives it like a little highlight and like pop in pictures, and it looks really good. I'm just gonna spray a little bit of extra setting spray. The Anastasia Dewy Set and this Milk Makeup have been my absolute holy grails. I love a good dewy setting spray. Both cruelty free. Okay, and this is the finished look. I just touched up my hair. I tried to flip out the ends because like Dixie D'Amelio has been doing her hair like that. So I feel like the flipped hair is like gonna come back and I think it looks kind of cute. I just think that this is like the perfect go-to every day. It's just like such a natural, dewy sun-kissed glow, and it just like kind of highlights your natural features, and it really just like made me feel like really pretty. So I love it so much. And I know that this was a Kylie inspired like everyday look, but I feel like all of the like TikTokers and like everybody has just been doing their makeup really natural and glowy, so it's very in style right now. Okay guys, I hope that you like this look and you like this video. If you did, definitely give it a big thumbs up down below. Smash that subscribe button. That's what everybody says, so just do it. You could find me at Alexa Dubs on all of my social medias and Lex Dubs on Twitter. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, every day is a new day to follow your dreams. Mwah!